what we did yesterday concerning introducing SPSS and being able to import datasets or also to create datasets within it, together with the explanations I gave therein. So this is just an attempt to ensure that you can be able to follow up afterwards, and I'm just going to proceed to clear so that I can launch it afresh, and also to ensure that you can be able to trace it from the beginning. You know how I have been able to move pieces around and stuff like that. Okay, so we've been talking about analysis through SPSS, and we said it is unique in the sense that SPSS has two different views. The first view is the one you can be able to, the first view is called the variable view, okay, where you get an opportunity to describe your variables, to define it essentially. So, the second one, after you've already defined your variable, when I say define your variable, I mean you say you state the name of the variable, the size of the column, the type of variable, whether it's numerical, string, a date, okay. Also, you have to specify if there's any values, missing values, with decimal places, label, values missing, columns alignment, and measurements. So we talked about all those, and we were able to establish just how to do that. And then, as I told you, we have, after you are done creating your variable view, you can proceed now to view your data on the data view, which essentially now provides the data sets and the display of how it appears. So briefly, I'm going to go through manual keying in of data. Like I told you, there are two ways you can have data in a SPSS. One, you can just key in data yourself, or you can bring it from another source. So on this one, I said there's this name column, type column, width, decimal, label, values, missing, columns, alignment, measure, and roll. So on the name column, which is this, I told you that there are specific rules. Number one, you shall never include a space, okay, when you're defining your name. Let's say you want to say ID number. If you say ID space number, it's not acceptable. If you wish to have two words linked together in the name area, you must use an underscore to separate them. So you can say ID underscore numbers, or you can put it as one word, ID numbers. Okay. Number two, never include abbreviations. Okay. Full stops, commas, dash, those things are not allowed. So you shall never include them here. So in this case, we can have ID numbers. You can say ID numbers. Okay. ID numbers. You can have it as one word like that. If you don't want to have it like that, you can say ID underscore numbers. Okay. That one too. Okay. Among numbers. That one is acceptable. You see that? But when you try to say ID space numbers, you can see that you get an error which says the variable name is not recognized. Okay. So alternatively, if you also try to introduce an abbreviation, let's say ID numbers and then full stop, you can see that that one too is an illegal character. So make sure that you follow the rules on the basis of naming. Naming is a way of defining your variables. Sometimes you find yourself issuing a questionnaire, okay, and I used an example yesterday, where you ask your you ask your respondents about what they think about the performance of the government in this period, okay, the economic performance of the government. And we said they can be able to rate their specific responses. So when you want to display, if you don't wish to introduce an entire question on the name, you must just give a keyword of defining the variable. Say performance or government performance. Okay, so you can say economic performance. Okay, or you can just say economy. Okay, and then in the label I'll be showing you how can do it. So you say ID numbers. Now in the label column, this is the label column. Now you can insert the real name. Okay, the way it should appear. Even spaces are included, abbreviations are included. So you can say ID numbers. Okay, it's just an identification. You can even put the question here on label. How would you rate? Okay, let me just make sure the spelling is right. How would you rate the government performance? Question mark. And you see it accepts it. So in essence, the label column provides more details about the name of the variable. The name is a summary of the variable, what it's all about. But the label column provides you with additional information or descriptives about the variable you are defining. So this is variable 1, row 1 is variable 1, row 2 is variable 2. Now let's go to row 3. Let's say age. Okay, we can have gender. Okay, in that order. Let me even choose another one. Okay, yeah, up to there. So we can have different varieties. So this is what we anticipate to have. Okay, now on the type basis, let me just click on one of them. You can see that we have numeric, we have comma, we have dot, we have scientific notation, we have date, we have dollar, we have custom currency, we have string, we have, and so on. That means you are able to define exactly the nature of or the type of data keyed in that variable. When you say something is string means you don't need it to be analyzed. It is just supposing you're talking about ID numbers, you don't need an average ID number, right? That the average ID number for this study was, no. ID number is just an identification, it's a designation, it's like a name. Okay, so all names are identified as strings. For dates, you have to specify. Okay, you can just create a column, a format here. The moment you've already created a format, you select a format for the date of that area, it will automatically update itself from the beginning all the way to the end. And this is usually important when you're dealing with the stock market, stock prices for a unit for a particular company in a year or something. So this is where you are able to specify. Otherwise, if you need an analysis to be done on that particular variable, you have to specify that it is numeric. If you don't say numeric, then SPSS will not be instructed to analyze it. It will be impossible. So in this case, this is an ID number, so it's a designation, it's just a string variable. Okay, economy, we will need to analyze it, so we will name it numeric. Age, numeric, we'll need to analyze it. Gender, numeric, we will need to analyze it. Make sure it's numeric, because we will need to find how many were males, how many were females. Okay, next column is on width, which essentially defines the size of your specific columns. When you go to the data view, the distance from one column to another, here to here, that is what we will be talking about. You see, it will essentially be a way of adjusting. Then we have the decimal, which tells you the number of decimal places you anticipate for a particular variable. So you can be able to specify anywhere between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can be able to specify all that. The standard is usually 2. Okay, you can have it as 2 decimal places. It's okay. So this is where you specify the decimal places for the data you wish to enter on the other side, such that the moment you just enter it, it proceeds to assume the format that you've given it. The label I've been telling you is just further description, so you can have this as age of respondents. Okay, it's further description. And then you can have the gender of respondents. Remember, here you can include spaces and abbreviations, and like when you the one we were talking about, the name. Okay, this is another important description that you need to have. So this one you can have none because these are just ID numbers. There are two variables here we can be able to code. This is where I told you you can be able to code. Sometimes you have a variable classified as yes, no, yes, no. Those are responses, or male, female. So you need to convert that into numerical format so that analysis can be done on it. So what do you do here? You proceed to, supposing we're talking about gender, you click on it, you pick a variable, say 1 to represent females. Okay, female, click add. 2 to represent male, make sure the spelling is accurate and the casing is accurate as well, to represent. Then you click OK. You already defined that. Another one, you can have this economy. How would you rate the government performance? Or do you say, supposing the question is, do you think the government handled the fuel crisis correctly? So you can say 1, disagree, strongly disagree. Okay, make sure the spelling and the casing is correct. 2, disagree. 3, agree. 4, strongly agree. Okay, once you've done that, you click OK. You have essentially defined or specified the values anticipated for that particular variables, the ones we have here. Now I want to explain the measures using this. Okay, measures essentially tell us how the data in numerical format is moving. Okay, and when you talked about age of a person, the age of a person can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way to 99 or 100 or 1000 if you wish. So if you have that, it's continuous, it's numerical, so you scale it. It's called scaled. Okay, now on the aspect of gender, it is categorical in the sense that it's 1 or 2. So it's a designation. It has been named 1, or let females be 1, let males be 2, or let males be 2, females be 1. It's just a name. It doesn't indicate value. That when you assign males 2, it means men are more valuable than women. No, it's just a designation. So that is a nominal. From the word name, nominal. Okay. On this rating here, where we are talking about values for 1 for strongly agree, strongly disagree, all the way to strongly agree, you can see that as the value increases, the agreement scale increases. People agree more as the value is increasing. So this one, yes, it's a designation, but it's also an indication of value. So you have to say ordinal. And you notice that when you define something as ordinal or scale, it will also be okay. So when you say ordinal scale, the definition will be similar. Good. So once we're done with that measure, I want to talk about missing variables. And as I said, here you specify variables that are missing, you assign them something. Supposing we have age, and there's someone who did not provide their age. I told you in statistics there are various ways you can be able to deal with missing values. One, you can assign an arbitrary number. Okay, let's just say if there are no missing values, you check no missing values. You can say no missing values. So you can just choose a value, say 0. Okay, that assign 0 to all values that are missing. Alternatively, you can decide assign the average. If you know the average age, say it's 34, you can decide to assign all missing values 34. Okay, you click OK. Alternatively, you can say go to range. Okay, that for all missing values, I want you to assign values ranging from between 1 and 10. Are you seeing that? Then you click OK. So you can be able to specify a range of values that can be replaced, so that anywhere that missing values are present, SPSS will randomize between 1 and 10. So you can actually, this is usually the best option. Take the average. Okay, you click OK. You can see that we have specified that for any missing variable we will, in age, for any missing value we will have it as the average, which is that for, and you can do that for all the others in case you have missing values. This is the column size, tells the number of characters to anticipate in a particular cell. So you can specify 10, 8, 9, 10, 8. You can get to choose depending on your liking. Alignment just tells you where you want your data to be centered, towards the left, in the middle, or on the other side. And then these others are not important. So long as you have this one, you have the name, you have specified the type, the width, the decimal places, the label, the values, and the measures, you can have it. So when you proceed to the data view, now you can be able to see that your variables have been defined. Variable 1 is here, variable 2 is here, variable 3 is here, variable 4 is here. Okay, so essentially row 1 becomes column 1 for variable 1. Okay, row 2 on the other side, you can see we had economy, we have already defined it. When you come to the data view, you can be able to see it over here. So those are the kind of things we anticipate. Now you can be able to key in your data, and so on and so forth. Okay, now, so that is what we were talking about, and I'm saying you can be able to key in your data here, 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 and as you wish, and then you can be able to manipulate. Okay, now the second option, you can import a data set, and I told you my version is a bit ahead of yours, but there's an option of import data. From where? From Excel. Okay, so you click on it, you get an option on this looking tab over here. As you can see, you can specify the folder within which your data is located. Okay, so if it's located in downloads, you go to downloads, then exams. You see I have it there, so you click open. Okay, your data will be presented in a new window, because this one I've already keyed in some stuff in it. So you get this option, especially in coming for Excel. You specify a range, you can also specify, you click OK. Okay, see the syntax for importation has happened. So this is exactly what we anticipate, and we have it in place. We have male, we have female. So when you go to the variable view, they haven't really defined the gender. Okay, you can really just you can copy this and paste it here. It's okay. So let's talk about values. Let's say let 1 be, so it started in the lowercase, let 1 be female, okay, spelling and casing must be correct. Let 2 be male, okay, and then click OK, and then you can proceed to so the moment you change this from string to numerical, okay, you see it disappears, okay, because of configuration issues. So you have to make sure that the moment you want to do an analysis, before you actually key in your data, you must have specified here that this one will represent something and this one will represent something. So it's usually important to proceed to do that, because the moment it's specified as a string, then it means you are unable to access your information. Okay, now secondly, another way you can bring in data is through open. Okay, you go to open file first, go to file, open data. Okay, I found these results. So once you have that, you proceed again to the column where let me import this file. Mine is on, so you go to here in the looking, you specify exactly the folder where you want to look for your data set, and then you click on the data set and then click open. Okay. And I told you Excel does not discriminate. It can import any file you have, depending any format. So you don't have to convert it to Excel or something so that you can get, no, 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 no. All you just need to do is import it. So you can see we have another one here. We have age, education, income. These variables have been defined here. The values have been assigned. You can see for this one, did not complete high school, completed high school. This is the level of education and so on. This is whether you defaulted on loans or did not default. So you can be able to previously defaulted. You can see let 0 for no if you never defaulted, yes if you defaulted on loans, and so on. So you can see your data has been presented here, and so on and so forth. So you can be able to perform your analysis based on what you have here. Otherwise, in the next class we'll be talking about descriptive statistics and graphical analysis. So stay tuned for that one as we meet for a scheduled meeting as usual at exactly 5:30 to 7. Then we can be able to discuss and ask questions in case you'll have any. If you're having problems with the importation of data or keying in of data, I'd like you to approach me. It's okay. I'll be able to fix it for you. Otherwise, thank you so much.